In my past life, Dad died in a car accident, and my sister chose the inheritance he left behind, while I was taken away by Mom. In the end, during the high-temperature apocalypse, the inheritance proved utterly useless, yet, under the protection of Mom and my stepfather, I lived like a little princess. My sister and I perished together in mutual hatred. When I opened my eyes again, we had both returned to that day of choice. This time, my sister was the first to throw herself into our mother's embrace. "Mom, I can't bear to leave you. Take me with you," I smiled. She didn't know that in my past life, I survived by relying on myself. When my younger sister threw herself into our mother's arms, I knew then that I wasn't the only one who had been reborn. In my past life, Mother said she would only take one daughter with her. She pushed me into Mom's arms, choosing for herself the inheritance left by Dad. "Sis, I know you can't bear to part with Mom. I'm giving up a happy life for you. Aren't you going to thank me, this lifetime?" She fluttered into Mom's arms like a peacock, afraid of being a step too late. "Mom, I want to go with you. I can't bear to be apart from you." From childhood, Mom had always favored her more. Now, hearing that her younger sister wanted to leave with her, she was naturally overjoyed. Originally, she had been worried, afraid that her daughter wouldn't be able to accept it. I never expected my sister would actually leave with her. I lowered my head in silence, not saying a word. My sister took Mom's hand and walked up to me. "Sister, no one will take care of you from now on. You'll have to take care of yourself." As she passed by me, her voice was very soft, laced with mockery in her tone. "Your good days are about to become mine. I can't wait to see you struggle with money you can't spend." I knew why she would say that. In my previous life, my father passed away suddenly, and not long after, my mother brought home an uncle. Dad left a substantial inheritance, and in my past life, my sister chose to inherit it. But I never expected the high-temperature apocalypse to come so soon. The money in her hands was utterly useless. As for me, my life changed completely after the apocalypse. I had princess dresses, lived in air-conditioned rooms, and dressed up beautifully every day. She formed a stark contrast with her. Later, she knelt before her mother, begging her to take her in. Her stepfather sneered mockingly. "Take a good look at yourself. Do you really deserve this princess-like life? Get out of here now." Her sister was immediately kicked out. Later, when she knelt and begged before others over a bottle of water, I stepped out of the car like a princess, with someone even holding an umbrella for me. My sister completely lost it, pulling out a knife and lunging at me. I also mustered all my strength to plunge the knife into her body. In this lifetime, she chose to follow her mother without hesitation. She seemed to already be fantasizing about her future life as a little princess. "The life of a little princess belongs to me now. From now on, you'll have to live under the scrutiny of others." She gazed at the empty room. "It's really quite lonely being alone. Mom says nice things, that she'll come back to see me when she has time, but even though she dotes on my younger sister so much, I've never seen her come back to visit her, let alone me." Doing the math, Mom and my stepfather probably got together before Dad even passed away. I returned to my own room, looking at the photo of the happy family of four. The good days seemed like they were just yesterday. Dad's gaze at me was especially gentle. From childhood, Mom never liked me. Even when I came in first place, she still didn't like me. Only Dad would gently pat my head and say, "Our Precious got first place. That's amazing. Dad is going to reward our Precious. Such a wonderful person." Yet in the end, something terrible happened. I withdrew my gaze and clenched my hands tightly. "I will strive to live on, to live well." I gaze at the scenery outside the window. The sunlight is bright, and pedestrians come and go in an endless stream. No one could have imagined that in just 10 days, the scorching apocalypse would arrive. At first, when temperatures consistently soared above 40 degrees, everyone complained, but no one thought it was unusual. The argument drew everyone's attention as the temperature rose day by day. It actually reached as high as 50 degrees. In just 2 days, the temperature rose again to 60 degrees, and no one dared to go outside. The terrifying heat even made rescue operations impossible to carry out. Everyone can only try their best to stay at home. People would die from the heat within 10 minutes of going outside. No one dares to challenge nature. Money becomes utterly worthless at this point. The true despair came on the third morning when the air conditioning stopped working, meaning everyone had to remain indoors. Most households have already exhausted their stockpiled supplies. In my previous life, I managed to take a shower every 2 days despite the severe water scarcity, which naturally made my sister jealous. Given a second chance at life, she was determined to seize the good life for herself. I took out a piece of paper and listed all the things I needed. My sister thought money was the most useless thing in the world, something she could easily give up in this lifetime. Even after being reborn, she's still this foolish. Money is the most useful thing in this world. First, reinforce the doors and windows. In the apocalypse, human nature is often the most terrifying thing. The most horrifying moment is when they know I'm a girl living alone at home with plenty of supplies. Never test the depths of a person's heart in earlier years. It was already quite difficult for Dad to support the three of us, mother and two children. This floor of the building was only bought after emptying our pockets. We only bought the fifth floor, which is relatively low, with very little sunlight exposure, and it was the cheapest option. Moreover, due to its remote location, the occupancy rate is extremely low. Unexpectedly, when the high-temperature apocalypse arrived, this neighborhood turned out to be a relatively safe place. The current problem is that Dad's income alone hasn't left us with much savings. At most, we have only 50,000 yuan. This is also the fundamental reason why my sister and mother could easily give up my father's inheritance. Apart from this house, the rest simply isn't worth mentioning. Anyone would choose to trade the inheritance for their own reputation, but now I've already come of age. I quickly downloaded various platforms offering small loans. No one knows when the apocalypse will end, or how many people will remain when it's over. The entire world will likely need to start over. I borrowed 500,000, but it wasn't enough, far from enough. I called my younger sister. Her stepfather is somewhat of a wealthy nouveau riche, and to appease her, he would surely give her a considerable amount of money. "What are you calling me for?" Her tone was brimming with impatience. "Lend me 200,000. I won't beat around the bush. TSK, sister, not to be rude, but what kind of time is this, and you're still thinking about enjoying life?" Her tone was dripping with sarcasm. "Looks like you won't last much longer anyway. How about 200,000 for your life?" She promptly transferred the money to me. I know very well in my heart that she doesn't care about the bond between us sisters. It's just that she wants to flaunt how good her life is now in front of me. I took the money, let out a light laugh, and reminded her, "Little sister, you can know a person's face but not their heart." As soon as the words were spoken, the call was abruptly ended. I've already warned her, but she didn't believe me. There's nothing more I can do. Some people are determined to dig their own graves, and no one can stop them. Using my sister's ID, I took out another 1 million from a shady online loan. Now with 1.75 million in my possession, I can finally breathe a little easier. Got the money, I immediately called the installation company without delay, didn't even blink, chose the most expensive, best quality Chinese glass, heard even bullets can't break it. Is it really that magical? You'll know once you try. I even installed 3 layers of doors. The installation technician looked at me for the third time and couldn't help but say, "Young lady, this door is already the best our company offers. There's no need to install so many." I replied pitifully. My dad passed away, and my mom left with my sister. I live alone at home, and I'm scared. Looking at my reddened eyes, the installation technician softened his heart and even agreed to give me 3 locks for each door. This way, unless I willingly open it myself, no one could unlock my door from the outside. Originally, the work was supposed to take 7 days, but I pretended to be scared and slipped the technician 5,000 yuan. "Uncle, many of my relatives know I'm home alone. Could you hurry it up a bit? I'm scared." Perhaps seeing how pitiful I looked, or maybe because I was easy to talk to, the 2 installation workers didn't hesitate at all and got straight to work. For 100,000 yuan, they promised to work overtime today and get everything installed by the end of the day. The issue with the doors and windows was resolved. In this scorching apocalyptic world, the most important thing is water. A person can go 3 days without eating, but absolutely cannot go 3 days without drinking water. Buying too many things at once will raise suspicion. I used 5 different platforms on my phone, divided among 20 stores, and ordered 100 barrels of water from each. Water doesn't expire, so it's fine to stock up more. I even managed to haggle because I bought so much. I also rented a small warehouse near my home. It cost a total of 15,000. No one can know my exact whereabouts. The address was written inside the small warehouse. I drove my dad's 5-year-old car again to the large warehouse-style supermarket. I went straight to the ready-to-eat section and cleared out all the products on the shelves. Also, there were foods like rice, oil, and flour that can be stored for a long time, 10 bags of each, plus some preserved meats, sausages, and powdered milk that can be stored, if nothing goes wrong in the future. These supplies will be enough to last me 5 years. It's not enough, far from enough, at least in my previous life. A whole year passed without any rescue arriving. I must arrange a reasonable retreat for myself. Afraid of arousing suspicion, I first checked out and transported these items back. Although I bought a lot of things in a warehouse store, it's quite common to see. Even the cashier at the front desk just reminded me to be careful on the road. After returning home, I ordered another 100 boxes of instant noodles and sausages online. all shipped to the rented warehouse. After finishing these tasks, I allowed myself a 10-minute break. I pushed my little cart downstairs. Mineral water is exceptionally important to me. The warehouse is just a temporary stop for me. I absolutely cannot entrust my life to others. I must hurry to transport all the water upstairs. I don't have much strength, and I must avoid drawing attention. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I finally managed to transport all 2,000 barrels of mineral water up. By this time, blisters had already formed on my feet, but I knew all too well that time was running out. I placed another online order for 100 cases of mineral water and 1,000 loaves of bread. After finishing all the tasks, I went to check the installed door again. Grabbing a knife from the kitchen, I frantically hacked at the door, but it didn't budge at all. The thought that I had 3 more doors just as sturdy made me feel even more at ease. Locking all the doors, I fell into a deep sleep. For the next 3 days, I kept buying supplies. I bought all kinds of meat and vegetables that could be stored for a long time. The room was already packed to the brim. With the stockpile in the house, I could survive for at least 30 years on my own. The weather is getting hotter and hotter now. I know, the time is almost up. The money in hand has been spent, leaving only 500,000 in the high-temperature apocalypse. The most unbearable thing is the extreme heat when the time comes. Every household will have their water and electricity cut off, so I must buy a few small solar-powered generators. Just as I was heading out, I heard laughter. I stiffened my back as if electrocuted. My younger sister appeared before me, holding hands with Mom and my stepfather. She wore a pristine little white dress, like a spotless little princess just emerged from a cocoon, her eyes brimming with disdain and mockery. Her stepfather beside her praised his daughter. "Enid looks so lovely in that white dress, just like the day we first met. You were just as beautiful." Mother blushed. I sneered coldly on the side. One cheated during marriage, the other knowingly became the other woman despite his wife and child. Disgusting. I clenched my fists tightly, thinking about my past life. My heart was filled with resentment, and my whole body trembled. I will definitely make them pay the price. My younger sister walked up to me, holding her princess dress. "Sister, you used to tell me that it was Dad who broke up our family, and I hated both Mom and Dad, but after spending time with Dad, he's been really good to me, treating me like his own daughter. You shouldn't misunderstand him either." I never expected my younger sister to change how she referred to our stepfather. Hearing this, Mom's expression immediately darkened. "I always knew you were no good. I should have strangled you at birth. And now you're trying to drive a wedge between me and your sister." The sister gloated. "Sister, there's going to be a disaster soon. Do you want to come back with us?" But then I thought, you don't like Dad. And Dad might not like you either. Maybe you should beg Mom and Dad instead. As she spoke, she straightened her back to show off the pristine white princess dress she was wearing. She was waiting to see me break down, to see regret on my face, but I didn't. I calmly looked at her. It must be exhausting to fake smiles and pretend to be obedient every day. With just one sentence, I successfully made her change her expression. "I don't understand what you're talking about. We came here to give you a chance, but since you don't appreciate it, forget it." After saying that, she turned around, took Mom's hand, and almost seemed to flee in a panic. I slowly made my way back home. By this time, the second-hand solar generator I had purchased had already been delivered. Looking at the generator before me, my eyes welled up with tears. Truth be told, it had been a long time since I last felt carefree. In that situation, even one's own flesh and blood might abandon you. How could they possibly treat me any better? It's just that the benefits I bring are too great. Every night, I wake up in the arms of a different person. They have to dress me up beautifully and give me the best life. Only then will I catch the eye of the rich and powerful. That's how they'll gain greater benefits. I didn't know in my past life. I only know that my mother doesn't like me, and I have to work hard to make them like me. Every day, various strangers would come to my stepfather's house. They didn't even discuss business, just sat across from me and watched. Their lecherous gazes kept sizing me up. To avoid being kicked out, I had to suppress my disgust and listen to them. What's worse, some would even put their hands on me. Thinking of the miserable experiences from my past life, I closed my eyes. In this life, I will never again hand over my destiny to someone else. I bought 3 solar-powered generators. I've already notified the installation team to come and set them up. I can't let them see the stockpile in my house, so I had to rent the room next door. The 5th floor is terrible. Our family is the only one living on this level. I easily managed to rent this floor. The property guy even looked at me and advised, "Your dad had an accident, and now you're all alone. Don't waste this money. Save it for your future college education." I knew he pitied me and meant well. I could only nod in agreement and casually reminded him, "Bro, it's getting hotter these days. Take a few more days to rest at home. I can only remind you this much. After all these tasks were completed, I scheduled an appointment for someone to come and install the soundproof panels. When the time comes, with every household experiencing a power outage and only my solar generator working, it will surely raise suspicions. I can only minimize the danger to the greatest extent possible. When everything was almost done, the temperature had already reached 40 degrees Celsius. All high-altitude workers were on leave. The internet was flooded with high-temperature warnings. I knew that by noon tomorrow, the temperature would rise to 55 degrees Celsius. At that time, it was impossible to go outside at all. Today is my last day. I went out again, to the hardware store to buy knives, axes, hammers, and saws, tools to protect myself. If the doors and windows are breached, these are my last resort. I also bought seeds, diesel, and other supplies. I can't go outside. These will help supplement my vitamins. I continued to order various cold medicines and sanitary pads online. I've already prepared for 30 years of high temperatures. At noon the next day at 10 o'clock, I went to the supermarket again and bought 1,000 ice pops and tools for making ice cubes. 11 o'clock at noon, there weren't many people outside anymore, and the temperature had already reached 45 degrees at 11:30 in the afternoon. I bought fruit seeds and soil at the flower and bird market again. I arrived home on time after 10 minutes. Take all these things back home. After returning home, all doors and windows were locked, and I had already replaced the curtains with blackout ones. It's absolutely impossible to see inside from outside, and the curtains were drawn as well. At 12 noon, I turned on my phone, and CCTV was broadcasting on time about the current situation where temperatures have reached 60 degrees Celsius, advising the public not to go outside and to wait for rescue. I calmly turned off the TV, stood in front of the door. The current outdoor temperatures have reached levels that humans cannot withstand. These days, at home, I've been eating and sleeping and eating. Now the weather forecasting system has collapsed, but looking at the heat slowly rising from the ground, the temperature is only higher than before, not lower. This morning, I was woken up by the heat, which means the power had already gone out. Fortunately, the solar generator I bought came in handy. Outside, it's as hot as a steamer, but inside the house, I'm doing all right. I sighed and turned back to my room. My phone rang, and I answered the call. My younger sister's excited voice came through. "Sis, just obediently wait to die. From now on, your life will be mine." She was still lost in the fantasy that in this high-temperature apocalypse, she could become the little princess. I sneered. "I advise you to run away as early as possible tonight. Considering she's my sister, I'm willing to give her one last piece of advice. Neither my stepfather nor my mother are people with foresight. The household supplies must have been completely exhausted by now during this period. If she doesn't leave tonight, today will be her last day." Remembering what happened in my past life, I clenched my hands tightly until my fingers turned white. I will never forget. "And I will definitely make those scumbags pay the price." My sister sneered. "You're just jealous of me. Let me tell you, from now on, we'll be living in two completely different worlds." She hung up the phone directly. I think my sister is really quite foolish. Given a second chance at life, all she can think about is how to rely on others instead of standing on her own. No one knows what's going on in her mind. I took out my phone and opened the surveillance video. No one has a clue. On the day my sister came to see me, I installed a surveillance device on the bracelet she always wears on her wrist. Right now, two strange men had already arrived at the stepfather's house. He asked the younger sister to go out and greet them, but the younger sister, completely absorbed in her dream of soon becoming a little princess, was throwing a tantrum. Her stepfather slapped her directly across the face. Her younger sister couldn't believe it and went to complain to their mother. Their mother didn't care about her at all. In the end, the younger sister could only force a smile and go out to greet those two men. Two men brought 2 boxes of water and 2 princess dresses. Smiling, they pulled the younger sister to sit between them. Their lecherous gazes kept wandering over the younger sister's body. The younger sister looked disgusted but still endured without breaking free. Today, her mother dressed her up beautifully. She wore a pink princess dress, a lace-trimmed crown on her head, and a pearl necklace around her neck. Her long legs were exposed, with slender, fair feet and a pair of silver-white pointed heels around her ankles. She looked like a fairy who had stepped right out of a fairy tale. One of them acted rudely, directly pinning the younger sister down on the sofa. Terrified, the younger sister struggled desperately, only to receive a slap across her face. She kept crying out for help, calling for her stepfather and mother to save her, but no one came. After it was over, my sister sat on the sofa like a dazed wooden doll. The two men looked thoroughly satisfied and even gave Mom and Dad 20,000 yuan. Mom walked over to my sister, took her hand, and said, "Inin, be good. Mom and Dad are doing this for your own good." My sister stared blankly at Mom. her eyes empty, and said nothing. The stepfather finally revealed his true colors. "Do you think I've been feeding and housing you for nothing? If you offend my guests, I won't let you off easy. There are plenty of dead bodies outside. I don't think you want to see that." With those words, the stepfather grabbed Mom and left immediately. My sister numbly returned to her room. The next second, my phone rang. I picked up the phone and heard her voice, seething with anger. "So you knew all along, didn't you?" I chuckled lightly. "Little sister, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Wasn't it your own choice to go enjoy the good life? What? Can't take it anymore." Watching her furious face on the surveillance screen, coupled with today's miserable experience, she won't speak these things out. I heard her voice becoming haughty again. "I just want to tell you, I'm living very well, and Mom and Dad treat me like a treasure." I didn't speak. It was as if she had caught my weakness. With a triumphant tone, "Are you worrying about what to eat tonight? After all, we're sisters. If you beg me like a dog, I might spare you some food." My silence swept away her frustration from the entire day. "Ah, what a real shame. You could die in this lifetime and still never reach my social class. You'll only ever watch me with envy." I cracked open a bottle of mineral water, drinking with exaggerated loudness. "My life is just fine. No need for your concern, sis." She understood better than I did just how precious a single bottle of water could be nowadays. In my past life, I appeared glamorous on the surface, showering daily. It was just to send me to one bed after another, but when it came to eating and drinking, they adhered to the principle of just enough to survive. "You absolutely shouldn't drink water in such large gulps." Seeing my sister swallow hard, I turned around and hung up the phone immediately. Another 10 days passed. Most of the supplies in everyone's homes had already been exhausted. Some people had already started venturing out to search for provisions. The 60-degree heat was unbearable for ordinary people to begin with. Most people died of heat along the way. I watched it all from the window, my heart filled with sorrow. But I'm just an ordinary person. Beyond protecting myself, I couldn't help anyone at all. Unexpectedly, a fleeting flash of light dazzled my eyes. Frowning, I looked down. Unexpectedly, my younger sister, mother, and stepfather had appeared downstairs. The glass I installed allows me to see outside, but outsiders can't see inside. I clenched my fists tightly. How could they risk coming here in such extreme heat? I dare not go out rashly, because I fear being detected by them. Soon, the three of them stood outside my door, incessantly knocking on it. Through the surveillance camera, I saw the three of them drenched in sweat. "Are you sure she's really at home?" the stepfather asked. The younger sister nodded firmly. "Dad, believe me, she bought a lot of things and is staying at home right now. If only we could get in." I watched the surveillance footage. I was so careful back then. How did she find out about my supplies? My phone rings. I took a deep breath, turned off my phone sound, and ignored it. My sister's message came through quickly. "I know you're fine and just staying at home. Let us in quickly. Hurry up and open the door." Her words carried a strong tone of command. She seemed particularly certain about me being at home. I held my breath and walked to the door. Mom hesitated and looked at my sister. "Are you sure she's really okay?" My sister nodded vigorously. "Mom, I remember I installed a monitor on her before. Now I can confirm she's safe at home, and there are plenty of things at home too." My heart skipped a beat. I never expected my sister to install surveillance on me too. My younger sister pulled out a hammer from behind her back. "We have to make her open the door, otherwise we're out of options. My door is reinforced." They were sweating profusely, but the door remained unmoved. My sister took out her phone and pointed it at her own face. "Since you won't come out, don't blame me for what happens." She plopped down on the floor, covering her face and sobbing. "Sister, we're flesh and blood. Mom is your birth mother too. How can you be so selfish? I know you've stockpiled supplies in your room. Just let us in. Don't make me do this." Her voice was very loud. Someone upstairs had already leaned out to find the source of the noise. I know, if she continued to make such a racket, more and more people would surely gather at the doorstep. At that time, whether the door can withstand so many people is still uncertain. With a cold expression, I called her. "I'll let you in. But delete the video." My sister's voice was full of smugness. "Let us in. I need to see your sincerity. I suppose you wouldn't want to share all these supplies with others, would you?" She's threatening me, but at this moment, I have no other choice. I took a deep breath. "The house next door is also mine. You can stay there first, and I'll provide you with 1 meal and 2 bottles of water every day. If you refuse, I won't hesitate to fight to the bitter end with you. Let me open the door and let them in." "That's absolutely impossible. I have to keep them calm first. The video must not be released under any circumstances, otherwise, I can't guarantee my own safety." Finally, they compromised. After all, with me as their long-term meal ticket, they were willing. I used a drone to deliver today's water and meals to them. I must resolve this matter as soon as possible. My sister called me in the evening, her voice cautious. "Sis, I'm sorry about what happened today, but Mom and Dad threatened me. If I didn't bring them to find you, they would kill me. I didn't want to do it, sis. Please forgive me. Okay, listening to her pleading tone, I was deeply moved. Little sister, we're family after all. We should help each other. There wasn't a trace of emotion on my face. I won't let them become a threat to me. My sister's show of weakness this time might be my last chance. My sister spoke in disbelief. Really, sister, is this true? I nodded heavily. Of course it's true. In my past life, I wanted to bring you to live with me, but I was afraid you'd end up living the same kind of life as I did. Actually, in this life, I've prepared a lot of supplies, just waiting for you to come live with me. My sister's voice was filled with urgency. Sister, can I come over today then? I pretended to look scared. No, little sister, I'm truly heartbroken. I don't know whether you're on their side or mine. She seemed somewhat impatient. Sister, just open the door and let me in. I'm really worried about you. I've always cared about you. As she spoke, she began to cry. I know she's a good actress, but I'm not falling for it. The most terrifying thing in this world is a woman. I curled my lips into a smile. Little sister, I don't like our stepfather. How about you take care of him for me? I'd like to see your sincerity. Okay, my sister remained silent, so I hung up the phone directly. She's an exceptionally selfish person. I know exactly what choice she'll make. As expected, the next day, I saw my stepfather dead in the surveillance footage. Mom screamed, while my sister looked utterly impatient. It's just a man. What's the big deal? Mom stared at my sister in fear. I knew she was ruthless, but I never expected her to act so swiftly. My younger sister called me in the evening. Sister, I've already completed what you asked of me. I just wanted to prove to you that in my heart, you're the only sister I have. Touched, I opened the door. Little sister, coming quickly. After she entered the house, I was especially happy and took her around to show her everything. Little sister, look how well I've renovated the house. There's enough food here to last us over 30 years. We can stay at home forever. I excitedly explained to her. The flash of greed in her eyes didn't escape my notice. My sister stayed with me today. During these past few days, I haven't given any food to the mother next door, only a little water to keep her alive. At night, my sister quietly got up from beside me. She walked to the door and was about to open it when I came up behind her and punched the back of her head. Then, I threw her toward the second door and placed 5 bottles of water by the entrance as well. After that, I opened the outermost door. The 10 beggars waiting outside could no longer hold back. They swarmed in like a hive, wielding knives to snatch the water. My sister was pinned to the ground by them, her clothes torn. My sister regained consciousness. She screamed frantically, but no one could save her. The tragedy continued until the next morning. After everyone had left, her mother came out of the room. The younger sister looked at her mother. Mom, save me. Please save me. The mother raised the knife and walked towards her expressionlessly. Why did you treat your uncle like this? Why did you kill him? Mom has always been a hopeless romantic. Just tell her the news that her sister killed their stepfather. The younger sister struggled desperately. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was that bitch. A slap landed hard on the younger sister's cheek. The younger sister's mouth was bleeding at the corner. She raised the knife and lunged at her younger sister. You should have killed him. You should have killed him. I'll make you pay with blood. The younger sister's strength had long been exhausted, and she was pushed to the ground by her mother. Mother took a knife and made many cuts on her body. The younger sister cried and begged for mercy. In the end, blood stained the entire stairwell. After the younger sister breathed her last, Mother took her own life beside her, a flash of crimson before my eyes. Yet, there wasn't the slightest ripple in my heart. Had I not installed surveillance on my sister, I would never have known she had devised such a malicious plan, luring the nearby beggars to come, use my supplies to lure them into defiling me. Let me experience the same thing she did. I felt not a shred of emotion, stay high and safe in my own home. 2 years later, hearing the announcement outside, after 2 years, we've overcome the high temperatures, and things will only get better from here. I curled the corners of my lips and opened the curtains. This high temperature apocalypse, I've finally conquered it. The end.